I know you read the title, and I practice watched these way before. It is actually almost... Oh, June 30? Huh, I didn't know it went 30, but fine. Yeah, guys, I'm so sorry if you've went through this. People that want you to send nudes or you're being raped. If you can't handle this, please still be here. This needs to be talked about. This was 4 years ago that she made this. So please just listen to her, and I'll say things along the way. But I hope you don't deal with this, and please, if you have a crazy person that hold a gun and a taser and pepper spray, if someone has raped you and you broke up with them and the police did nothing and they're still out there near you, try to get a license for a gun, so at least if he comes back he can't kill you. And pepper spray and a taser.
Alright, who's here for the chaos?
I'm here for the chaos.
I said who's here for the chaos?
I'm here for the chaos.
This is a super long story, and it's really hard
Kinda
to
looks like a
cutting
skinny
out any
Grimace.
important details.
I'm sorry.
This is part 1 of a 3-part series. The other 2 parts will be linked in the description and made into a playlist on my channel as soon as I finish them. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna start out with what you absolutely need to know. I dated
a pedophile.
Quotes, because that's illegal. It started
No, yeah, that's illegal.
when I was 13 and he was 17. That's an
This is amazing, not the amazing or Chris. Oh, so don't bother them, please. Thanks. His name is Harris. Also, if you're like, but why you say his name? He invaded this girl's body. Yeah. If you did something wrong, also let me talk about my personal experience real quick here. I was being effed with a girl that she kept saying we weren't dating and not dating, and people bully me because I am slightly autistic. Yep, the co-creator is slightly autistic. That's not that is an actual fact. If you guys make a wiki about me, you could put that on there. I'm fine with that. But I was being sexually harassed. You're like, what? I was being sexually harassed. They thought it was funny. Every time they were touching my butt, they were touching it. It happened twice. And Ziggy wouldn't stop making sexual remarks, knowing I didn't like it. People kept bullying me, insulting me, just because I'm slightly autistic. If you're slightly autistic or autistic, I know what you're going through. I'm sorry that has happened to you and all of that. Yeah, they wouldn't stop touching my butt. I'm just saying this. This is a very serious video for me, but they kept smacking Ziggy. Ziggy would not stop making sexual remarks at me and another guy, I forget his name. Abby, that's the girl that was with me. If you're like, bro, why you say their name? The girl lived with me, a guy that kept sexually harassing me. There was multiple men that kept but I don't remember all the men. But yeah, they kept harassing me, sexually harassing. YouTube, I know this is a delicate topic, but if someone's sexually harassing you, if you're a boy, still tell somebody, please. I don't want that to keep going. And people bullied me, and it's hard for me to contain that anger, and like it feels like my body's about to burn to pieces with anger. And I've got angry before where I've hurt somebody, my friend, and I don't say his name because he's a good person, even though there was, he did something that, he was doing it to protect his friends. Sometimes he does accidentally hurt his friends. He's not purposely doing it. But there was a guy that he was autistic. Like, I don't know if he was slightly, because he seemed like he might have been on like the spectrum. I don't know where, but he is. Also, she's autistic, and yeah, you copy people. You feel like you want to copy people to fit in. You don't. You know how like you could talk to somebody normally and shut up for 5 seconds? That's not normal for me. That doesn't feel normal. Like, socially, we don't feel normal. If you're autistic, you can't, not all of them, but like, you could get so bad you don't understand things that normal people do understand. You don't understand things. I don't know how to act socially acceptable. Okay, no, that's not what I meant, but like, I don't know how to talk to somebody and not be socially awkward or copy people. Feel like I should copy a person because they know how to be popular and like not socially awkward. It feels weird. I don't understand that. So that's one thing. Don't make fun of somebody that's autistic or something. And yeah, don't, please. Because we already have a lot we do. I'm slightly, so I don't fully understand. But it's just, your brain only knows how to do one thing certain good, and you don't understand some certain things, so it's like, I didn't know that's what you're supposed to do. Like, you don't understand that's how you're supposed to do it. And we learn differently than normal people, so we learn differently. And I don't usually tell people. I told him, and he said, yeah, I knew. So, yeah. I don't go and describe his life because he's a nice person. He only fought somebody because he was defending his friends. So, yeah. He was admirable. He has chub on his stomach, but muscles on his body. So, yeah.
Exaggeration. Nice clickbait, illy. No,
Like lying. Lying does not feel good. Like, lying does not seem normal to me. Like, it's not a normal thing. It's like in my program, in my brain, I'm programmed to tell the truth. So don't take advantage of this, please. Or I will come to your house with a taser. I'm kidding, but yeah. I'm not gonna come to your house, but still, please. If I know you, I'm going to report you. And don't make fun of
it is
people.
not an exaggeration. If you're
It's not.
17 years old, applying to colleges, driving, maybe you have a job, why would you have a crush on someone who's literally in middle school? You know what kind of boys I was into in middle school? Kovu from The Lion King 2. Moving on. But if the age difference there isn't enough to prove he was a predator, this person also pressured.
Also, you can skip. Try to skip as much as you can. It didn't last this long. But okay, how does wanting me to buy you things and prove me as a person, or wanting nudes while I'm at work, or not being supportive of my swimming, or not wanting me to sleep. This is by the YouTuber. And also, Harris, the jerk. None of that helps you. I'm just a leech. You don't need me. Okay? I didn't mean to make you feel bad. Just make you aware. Get some sleep. Well, you did, and now I feel like I'm a useless piece of species, and I want to die. Stay tuned for more BS like this. My profile pic changed because early screenshots were taken and sent to the police. Yeah, these were early screenshots back when she was 13 through 18.
Me into sending explicit pictures of myself and threatened me when I said no, which I did.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. You jerk, I want to kill you. Like, I do, but I'm not gonna do that. Harris, yeah, it's not a big deal. I don't see how it's all I put you through. Forcing someone to send naked pictures of their body. If you don't know what nudes are, it's a naked pic of your body showing your private parts. Your dude, your penis, girl, your vajay, and your boobies. My profile picture. Okay, sorry. You feel as though you're entitled to the money I make and my body. And when I get upset about that, you just play the "oh, I was JK" card and call me sensitive. Some people are sensitive, but not her. She is not sensitive. This is not sensitive at all. Not sensitive, just saying. You're so thick-skulled. You're so effing thick-skulled. If you don't care about me at all. You only care about the money I make, and if I'll show you my tits. I'll tell you about things I'm proud of or stressed about, and you just say gay. Okay, men do this a lot where we just say gay for some reason when we mean something stupid for some reason. I don't know, like, not all, but some do. You don't effing care. I've been sitting here for months hoping you change, but all I get it. Sorry that how I'm lol. Sorry that laughing out loud sends nudes when you gonna buy me things. If you don't change, you'll be out one friend, and if after all this you think I need to change, then you don't effing talk to me and don't even threaten suicide. Go tell a family member.
So go ahead. Say age is just a number, and I'm blowing this whole thing up out of proportion. Go on. I'm used to it, because that's what he...
That's all in your mind. You need to control that. It's nothing to be upset about.
told me. For 5...
Yeah, Harris is a jerk. Go rip his penis off if you see Harris. Just saying.
years.
Should have showed us.
Here's what happened. When I was 13, just like many of you watching, I was interested in drawing, illustrating, Kovu from The Lion King 2, making comics, digital painting, and even animating. I had a deviant art with...
Look at these, 5 foot long
meme drawings.
Look, you
Lion
drink.
King OCs, do not steal. Like, if you're gonna judge me on anything in this video, judge me here.
Yeah, just judge that. That's the only thing,
Okay, I was
judge.
a kid. I wrote Harry Potter fan fiction. I was in
Every kid does, and I've done worse. I have thought of. I've made FNAF OCs and Sonic OCs. I've done worse.
in middle school. I was 13, and I made an account on a now deleted website called ArtSpot.
We do need to bring back that 3DS animation site with like the frog and you get stars. I think we need to bring those back though.
It was like Agio or Drawsome.
Yeah, if you know these,
You
you
just
know
draw
these.
on
I don't
other
know
random
these.
people.
There's a Pikachu.
And there's a chat box on the side. And in retrospect, I think ArtSpots was a furry website.
She is furry.
Anyway, one day, someone popped in and said that
Hey, I like your drawing. Remember, this is Harris.
they liked my drawing. And they asked
How old are you, by the way?
how old I was. I said I
This is Illy. Thanks, I'm 13. Whoa. Whoa.
was 13. They said they were 7.
Dang, I'm 17. Your art is so good. I thought you were an art teacher or something.
And they thought my art was so good that I had to be an art teacher or something. Now, this may seem like a compliment, and it is, especially from someone older than you. And that's exactly what I was thinking. But considering what would later happen, this is called grooming. Grooming is when someone builds an emotional connection with a child to gain their trust for the purpose.
If you're deaf, just boop, 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 boop. Pause video right here. And read. If you're deaf, just pause it.
Of abuse. The predator gains the child's trust, breaks down their defenses, and then convinces the child to engage in their desired disgusting acts. And
Yeah, I'm bullied.
I really want to stress, hindsight is 2020.
Yeah. Just saying, if you have someone like this that reminds you of Harris, or if Harris reminds you of them, break up with him, get pepper spray, get a taser, try to own a gun and a knife so they don't find you and try to kill you to get rid of evidence of raping somebody. I'm sorry, but
I
that's
could gaze into the future. I would have logged off and never gotten on a computer ever again. But I'm not that so Raven. So, from there, this guy shared his entire life story with me. That he was graduating high school.
Don't blame victims for abuse, especially if they're a freaking child. Children being manipulated and abused by adults, that's who's to blame, not kids. I can't believe I have to spell this out. Yeah, she shouldn't have to spell this out. Also, cops don't believe anybody, and that's stupid. Okay, I get that some are just doing something stupid, like how a girl literally reported a guy and she literally said she did because she just didn't like the guy. Because they believe him, got him arrested.
From there, this guy shared his entire life story with me. That he was graduating high school soon, had a crush on the...
Seem nice. Maybe you can help me. I'm graduating soon, but I'm in love with this girl.
This girl who put him in the
But it's like I'm invisible
friend
to her.
zone, and he was so...
She won't talk to me. She blocked me. It makes me depressed. Okay, that means meaning one, you're crazy obsessive, or I don't know, she just didn't like you back, so she just blocked. And it's not the end of the world.
severely depressed because of that, and all he wanted was a friend. But
I would appreciate your friendship.
And this is important. He told me to never tell my...
Don't tell your parents, though. If they say don't tell your parents, tell your parents. Like, tell your parents. Tell your friends. I know that sounds super weird, but yeah. Like, really tell them. If they say don't tell your parents, they sketchy. They are sketchy. Tell your parents. Oh, this friend of mine, that's a 17-year-old. Just saying, tell your parents. I know this is hard. It's hard to avoid these things, but try. I know you can, but try as much as you can. If it doesn't work, I'm sorry. And buy that pepper spray, get the knife. Tell your parents for doing messed up things to you, like asking you to send nudes.
My parents about our friendship. Why?
Why?
Because they wouldn't understand us. We're like Romeo and Juliet.
Then why are you both not dead right now?
Okay.
That happened in Shakespeare. That happened. They both die at the end. Romeo and Juliet is not that loving because they literally both die.
Billy, you have to be stupid to not see these obvious red flags.
It's not that obvious when you're in the moment. Hey, get that. But if anyone reminds you of Harris, cut them off. A toxic relationship that is a friend or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, cut them off. Cut them off. Please, I am begging you, if someone is toxic. I don't really connect with them. Don't. Like, and if you do, and yet, are scared because they threaten you, buy pepper spray, taser. Try to get a gun and a knife and hold and lock your door. Carry that gun everywhere. So they cannot try to kill you. Or tell your parents this. Tell your parents this. That this guy, and show them a photo of the guy so they know who to look out for.
I would never let that
Also, he has
happen
devil
to me.
horns,
No,
so you
I
can't
wasn't
trust
stupid.
that, right?
I was 13, just like many...
Yeah, okay. If you think you're stupid, no, it's that you're growing. Your brain's not that understanding of every single thing when you're 14. Your brain is gonna grow and grow. You're like a flower. Your brain's like a flower. It's gonna grow and grow. You just gotta try to see. You're not dumb. You're just 13. You're a child. You don't understand this. A 13-year-old is not supposed to doesn't understand this. And if you're a teacher, please, next time, tell them that this happens. If you meet a stranger online, do not give them your phone number. Like, at all.
Leave you watching. Just think about all the normal friends you've made online, like through Minecraft or Roblox. And then imagine if this happened to you. No one really tells...
You should make friends online. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, at least give them only one way to call you. That is it. So if they turn out to be abusive or anything like that, you can get rid of it. Like Discord. Tell them your Discord. And then, so you can delete Discord. Or, if you have a second phone, do it to your useless phone. So, you can literally smash it into bits, like Plain Rock 124, and yeah.
tells you about these things. So that's all I'm trying to do in this video series.
Yeah, go to her original video, How I Met My Abusive Ex, boyfriend. Also, I know games and YouTube ain't really that kind to blind people. It's more kind to deaf. So, yeah.
God bless. Go in peace. So eventually, we moved our conversations to AIM, then Skype, then texting. And as time went on, he demanded.
I will really just redo this.
Demanded more and more from me, and he never seemed to understand that I was 3 hours ahead of him. I lived in North Carolina, and he lived in California. So I couldn't exactly stay up late talking every night. But to that, he'd accuse me of ignoring him and hating him. And one night when I fell asleep, I woke up to a barrage of texts from him saying he was going to kill himself because I was ignoring him. And I called him a million times, and after hours of calling and texting him that I was sorry and it wouldn't happen again, he finally responded. And thankfully he was okay. But I was not. At 13, I couldn't imagine being the reason someone killed themselves, no matter how much staying up till 1, 2, sometimes 3 in the morning was destroying me. But from that night on,
I will redo this video. If you're deaf, you can't hear this, but I will redo this video again. Not this video, but like the one I'm watching again, so you get full on what she's saying in this video. So deaf people and the blind people can understand the message. So yeah.
out of fear, I stayed awake. By high school, our friendship completely took over my life because when I was with friends or family, he'd do anything to make.
Also, if they always want you to be away from friends or family, don't. I'm sorry, but don't.
He'd leave them and talk to him. He'd blow up my phone while I was at dinner. If I didn't respond, he'd call me awful things just to bait.
I'm sorry, I have to go back. This is more for the
Leave
people.
them and talk to him. He'd blow up my phone while I was at dinner. If I didn't respond, he'd.
What the F are you doing? Question mark, F responding. Whore.
Call me awful.
F your effing parents.
Things just.
You shouldn't even be eating anyway.
To bait me.
You fat piece of feces. I told you to work out.
Into giving him
Fat piece of.
attention. Even
Sorry, I'm sorry.
things just to bait me into giving him attention.
Please stop. I'll be there in a second.
Even on prom night, he tried convincing me to stay home, and when I didn't comply, he went silent, which worried me to death. And he later explained he.
Are you okay? Hello. This is Harris. Yeah, I'm effing fine.
Did this as a punishment.
Maybe if you didn't ignore me, this wouldn't happen. This is all Harris you.
For ignoring him. He would do anything and everything to keep me isolated from friends and family. And his favorite tactic? Threatening suicide.
Well, why didn't you just leave? Just log off.
I did, but again, he had every means to contact me, even my home address. So if I just logged off.
Never tell a stranger that you barely met, even if it's your friend. If you know them in real life, and if you know they're a kind person, give them the address. But don't give them address. Never give them the address. I'm sorry, but don't.
He could swat me. Death was something he constantly held over my head. That's terrifying. So why did I stay? Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm.
Read it if you are not blind, deaf.
Syndrome is a condition that causes hostages to develop a psychological alliance towards their captors as a survival strategy. This can also be the space for those in abusive relationships. So, every time he threatened suicide, I would talk him off the cliff by saying exactly what he wanted to hear. I don't want to go hang out with my friends. I don't want to go eat dinner with my family. I don't want to go on that date. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to go anywhere where I can't be with you. And after months and years of saying exactly what he wanted to hear, I started to believe it. Just like he wanted me to. I felt brainwashed, trapped in my own mind games. And slowly, he broke me down, made me choose sides, and conditioned me to do anything he wanted. And why did he want me so badly? Well, when I was 15, he used these tactics to take inappropriate pictures of me. And he saved them on his computer in what he called his personal collection. By this time, he had just turned 21. This is where, to him, our friendship turned into a relationship. You can skip to here to avoid.
Skip to an original video. She says skip to 6 minutes and 35 seconds, I think. It's nothing graphic, no pictures, it's just evidence of him pressuring slash concerning me. If anyone talks to you like this, check the helpful link in the description. I don't know, I might have to copy and paste it, so, just in case.
Avoid reading these messages.
Okay, Harris. Nudes. NAO, I don't know. Nao? Hello, Wild Tarot FB. I don't know. Who? Huh. What's up? Hello? I think that's a cuss word. I think he says the N-word. N-word. What time is it? There, you sleep too much. He doesn't spell words correctly, so it says match instead of much. Other messages have our Google Hangout chat. When I blocked him on Skype 2015, it deleted the messages. She has pictures, so. Yes, Jeff. That sounds like my text. Like at the top. I'm just saying. Hurry now. I don't know what he's saying. Oh my god, send nudes from your friend's house. Do it in the bathroom. And use something you won't need. Banfield at PetSmart diagnosed her Tweety with liver failure and took advantage of my grandma, gave her hope that the cat would survive even though there's no cure for humans. For family to be present for euthanization, there's an extra $25 fee. So when we know they're putting profits before patients. Two dots slant. I don't. Grandma doesn't have money left, so my mom's her to pay grandma isn't here either. Not strong enough. Sorry for all the negative texts. Harris, just let her rest. She's suffering. Frowny face. Death happens. It's nothing new. Blaze it. Harris, what are you doing? Illy, being said, what are you doing? Harris, why, frowny face? Being want, D-pics? And Harris, and no, what's the point of doing it when Dad leaves? No thrill. 2 dot with a slam, you know? Illy, so he won't see me naked? Harris, oh, lame. You're supposed to do it quickly before he sees you. Illy, no, that's not fun to me. Harris, lame. You're not gonna streak with me when you come here? ? And I doubt you'll have public sex with me. He's a perv. I want you guys to know this happens. Harris, incest is so hot. Incest is so hot in hentai. The thrill. Oh no, Mom's coming upstairs. Keep your voice down, sis. He has a sister who was 15/16 at the time. Yeah, that's gross to say that. I don't think incest is hot at all. Halt. He spelled it H-A-W-T. Just spell hentai, right? Wait. I want the deaf people to, Harris, lesbian kisses. Yum. Illy, please stop. Harris, why, frowny face? What's wrong? Illy, because it makes me uncomfortable, frowny face. Harris, lesbian kisses make you uncomfortable? ? I thought you had lesbian kisses a couple times. Illy, no. The continued suggestion of lesbian kiss makes me uncomfortable. It's outside my comfort zone, and even if it was in my comfort zone, it's out of hers. My past ones were BC. They wanted to kiss me, and I said, sure. Harris, okay, so you're not comfortable with your sexuality? ? If some lesbians start hitting on you, would you be uncomfortable? Illy, no, Harris, I'm uncomfortable with you insisting that I kiss my friend. Yeah, he wanted her to kiss her friend. Her friend. Harris, and no. What's the point of doing it when... Oh, yeah. It's a repeat of... And... Oh, wait. It actually is different. And Harris. And no, what's the point of doing it when Dad leaves? No thrill. to doubt with slant. Illy. So he won't see me naked. Harris, lame. You're supposed to do it quick before he sees you. Illy. No, that's not fun to me. Harris, lame. You're not going streak with me when you come here? Question mark. Illy, that's different. Harris, and I doubt you'll have public sex with me. She's right, it is different, because if you're in a relationship, no doubt you're going, like, it's fine if you're fine with them seeing your body naked. She was not. So, it's like, what?
Illy, I know you claim that this adult man pressured you into sending explicit pictures of yourself, and you have the messages to prove it. Or whatever. But shouldn't you respect his privacy and not use his real name?
Let me think about no. He took advantage of a 13-year-old. Their privacy should be respected, right? No, their privacy should not be respected, because they did not respect her privacy, so why would she give a single F?
He invaded my 15-year-old body! Fuck your privacy. Fuck your privacy. Every day, after school, during the summer, even while I was at work, he demanded I stop whatever I'm doing and send him no less than 30 Snapchats a day. And if I said no, which I...
Also, you can skip to when I get to the second part if you're just blind. Oh, wait.
He did. He'd find a way to force me. I remember one time I begged him for hours to leave me alone. I even told him that this was considered CP and that he could go to jail. And you'd think if someone was confronted with this kind of information, they'd go,
oh man, I don't want to go to jail. You're right. What I'm doing is awful. I should really stop harassing and threatening you to...
Nope, nope, nope. Not Harris. These pictures...
No, none of them do that. No Reaper actually stops what they're doing. So even if you told them, stop it, they will not do that. You need to have a taser and pepper spray and a gun and a knife on you just in case when you break up, they want to kill you. I don't want you to die, audience. So please, pretty please, search help. Go to this vid and go to this video, go into the description, and then click it if you need help.
Of me were so important to him, he'd do anything to get them. So he
I just
found
want
a way
you to
to
know
deny,
about
deflect, and
guys.
blame me for anything.
This is just a serious video, so you guys don't have to experience what she had to. And if you have, I am sorry. I am so sorry.
I can't believe you think I'm a... What is wrong with you? Are you crazy?
I'm
Do you have
terrified.
any idea how that makes me feel as your boyfriend? That you think I'm a...
You are a pedophile.
This is called gaslighting. Gaslighting is where the abuser
Read it.
denies reality and convinces the victim to doubt their own memory, perceptions, even sanity. And like always, Harris threatens suicide if I didn't go along with him. So when I try to tell him what he's doing is wrong, is disgusting, is against the law, I ended up being the one apologizing to him for making him cry. Cry more, dude. It's wrong.
Cry.
This went
It's
on
wrong.
until I graduated high school and went to college. Oh, and remember that girl who friend-zoned him in high school? Around this time, she reached out to me, telling me to run, to block him, to cut him off immediately. Because...
Also, if they do this, do exactly what they say. Never give someone that's abusive your address. I am just saying. So, yeah. If the original girl is like, hey, maybe you should run for your life away from this person instead of saying he's a jerk or something like that.
Truly, he harassed her.
This girl, being creep. He was talking about driving up here, making obscure posts counting down to my birthday and leaving weird anonymous messages. During that time, keep friends around and pepper spray. I doubt he'll do anything, but mostly for your sake, for your own sake. Yes, she's saying exactly what I want, except I said more, like a gun or a knife and pepper spray and a taser. Because a taser can do a lot of damage. A gun can make people back off. I don't mean kill them, but like shoot them in the leg so they can't follow you. Also below the legs, like there are actual sensitive things that could kill somebody. But just in case, just get all these items, get a gun license so you know how to use it.
Her back in high school, stalked her in real life, and when she blocked his phone number, Harris used a website to make up fake phone numbers so he could still contact her and harass her. I didn't want to think this was true, but then again, if it was happening to someone else, maybe it was. So I brought these allegations up to Harris, and he became so...
I'm gonna talk to Holly on and make sure she backs off. Oh, Alyssa. Well, Illy, Illy. Alright, make it short and simple. Harris, you gave her your art. Are you URL? I don't. You really? URL, I don't know what that is. That's not cool. You're basically okaying her to come to your blog. Illy, why is she not allowed to look at my art? Illy, I don't have issues with her. You can tell her to go away. All you want to me, she's just some chick. Harris, yeah, some chick who effed me up. Harris, guess that part doesn't matter to you.
so angry at me. He denied doing any of that.
Harris, I don't like drama. I just really dislike the hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. She told me to stop contacting her, and I listened like a dog, and she gets to stalk my friend. He is a liar. He's lying. No duh. They lie. They're not gonna confess to that.
Despite the proof she had, he accused me of lying.
No one
and told me to
confesses
never
to
speak
that.
to her.
Wait, what is up here? Okay.
Again, and he demanded all of my passwords on every social media platform to make sure of it. He also threatened to kill me and then himself if I didn't comply.
You could have said no.
No, she could have not said no. No, you cannot. They keep pestering and bugging you, and they'll make sure you'll say yes. They'll manipulate you, do every single tactic to make you say yes.
No, I couldn't have. I was terrified. You don't know what it was like.
They use fear.
You could have said no.
No, I couldn't have. I was terrified. You don't know what it was like. You don't get to say that to me and millions of other...
Yeah. You can't say no. They use fear, manipulation, all those tactics, and it works. Manipulation works. Don't use it to somebody. You will probably get beaten up. A new grand jury report says that internally document from 6 Catholic dioceses in Pennsylvania shows that more than 100 priests have been credibly accused of sexual abusing more than 1,000 child victims. Oh my god. Then how are you a priest? Like, that is definitely a sin that you go to the depths. If you believe in God, you believe in hell. Then, yeah, you believe in hell. Why? Why would you do this? 1,000 child victims. This is just effed up. We believe that the real number of children whose records were lost or who were afraid ever to come forward is in the thousands. The thousands! The grand jury report says priests were raping little boys and girls, and the men of God who were responsible for them not only did nothing, they hid it all. For archbishops, for them not. So the other priests only did nothing. They hid it all for decades. The ministers, auxiliary bishop, archbishops, cardinals have mostly been protected. Many, include some named in this report, have been promoted. The grand jury describes the church's method as a playbook for concealing the truth after FBI agents identified a series of practices they found in diagnosis files. The lengthy report Tuesday afternoon investigate clergy sexual abuse dating to 1947 and 6 diagnosed Allentown, Ari, Greensburg, Arisburg, Pittsburgh, and Scaraton. I don't know. Read. Pause the video if you need to read. Okay.
For young children who are lured into this kind of...
David and Louis Turpin appeared in court in Riverside on Wednesday, June 20, 2018. The parents accused of abusing and torturing their children in Paris. Appearing in court, Perris, I don't know, appeared in court Wednesday for a key hearing, Riverside County District. Attorney Mike Hairston revealed horrific details about the, I don't know, and also this story about the Paris torture case. 911 call played in court. Disturbed details of. Yeah, that's the one I just read. Daughter's 911 call played at hearing for California couple accused. A daughter of the Paris couple accused of abusing their 13 children had a sexual assault by David Turpin against his 17-year-old daughter.
Evil every day. We don't need to be told.
Okay, wait.
Into this kind of evil every...
U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Children Barua report children and maltreatment 2010 found that 9.2% of victimized children were sexually assaulted. Page 24. Studies by David Finkelhor, director of the Crimes Against Children Research Center, shows that 1 in 5 girls and 1 in 20 boys is a victim of children's sexual abuse. Think about that. Look up how many people are in the world. That's a lot of children. Sexually abused. Self-report studies show that 20% of adult females and 5 to 10% of adult males recall a childhood sexual assault or sexual abuse incident. During a 1-year period in the U.S., 16% of the youth ages 14 to 17 had been sexually victimized over the course of their lifetime. 28% of the U.S. youth ages 14 to 17 had been sexualized victims. Children are most vulnerable to CSA between the age of 7 and 13. Think about that. 7-year-olds are vulnerable to CSA. Read that if you need to. Pause the video. Okay.
Day. We don't need to be told.
Why do people blame sexual harassment on women's efforts? Why are sexual harassment victims still questioning their clothes choice? We often see this with rape victims. Often the first question they'll ask is, why me? But their victims are wearing a range of outfits from revealing to snowsuits. Sanford sexual assault. Woman who blamed victim for drinking apologized. Her letter, which was read in court defending Brooke Turner, sparked nation outrage from people who said it perpetrated rape culture and blamed victims. We are blaming victims that have been raped. No, that is not okay. That is not okay. Stop it. Stop it. That is not okay. Read it, pause.
What to do or how to feel. We've had enough of.
For sexual assault victim faced personally questioned at trial. July 19, 2016, new transcript shed light on a court process the victim calls traumatized case, which attracted huge backlash over the light sentence given. So they gave them a light sentence, and people were mad. Makes sense. CAA finds no violations in Larry Nassar scandal. MSU says HuffPost 2 hours ago in this video. NCAA clears Michigan State and Larry Nassar football basketball investigation. Bleacher Report. NCAA lets Michigan State off the hook in Nassar case. Deadspin. Read it.
People who hurt us. What we need is for someone to finally listen and
Ali Resman reads victim impact statement in front of her abuser, Larry. January 19, 2018. Resman addresses Larry Nassar, calls out USA Gymnastics, and I can't read that. January 19, 2018.
Believe us, people like Harris
You know, you could have paused.
do not deserve your empathy. People like
No.
Harris do not deserve the benefit of the doubt. Because
No.
people like Harris thrive when others are complicit.
Yeah, don't be complicit, and also don't give them your empathy. Why?
The more we turn the other cheek, say, that's none of my business, or even worse, blame
Well, the little girl shouldn't. Also, that's not me saying it, that's the video. Doing it to prove a point on what she's saying, that we shouldn't blame children and turn a cheek. Okay.
literal children for the evil they had to bear and the childhood they had to sacrifice. The more this happens, the more people like Harris get away with it and do it again. But understand, this is why I'm telling this story years after it happened. I want to warn others, especially those watching who are as young as I was. And sadly, this story is only the beginning. Most of you know, I grew up in North Carolina and moved to California for college. And a lot of you have asked me, how could you do that? You're leaving your whole family. You've never even been to California. Well, Harris made me. And I'll get into that in the next video.
ECU does not cost less than a community college. Wow, if you go to ECU, I will be so disappointed in you. This is Harris. You still don't understand. No. Okay, you can skip. Try to skip after this, but I will replay it for deaf people, blind people, not blind people, deaf people. If you or someone you know, this is not me, but I would tell you this advice. If you or someone you know is in a situation like this, please refer to the link in the description. There is a safe way out. There is a safe way out without you killing yourself. I don't want you to die. You're beautiful. You're charismatic. You're a nice person. Unless you raped somebody or did a crime, please don't do that crime. And if you rape somebody, jump off a cliff. Okay, you can skip to that one. But I am subscribed. But
For the chaos! I'm here for
I'll have this on and just be sitting
All right,
back.
who's here for the chaos? I'm here for the chaos! I said who's here for the chaos? I'm here for the chaos! This is a super long story, and it's really hard to condense without cutting out any important
You can
details.
skip.
So this is part 1 of a 3-part series. The other 2 parts will be linked in the description and made into a playlist on my channel as soon as I finish them. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna start out with what you absolutely need to know. I dated a and made into a playlist on my channel as soon.
Also, I forgot to read. I'm in senior year anime college. I'm trying to upload monthly and stream as much as I can and get my degree. Please be patient. Thanks. Smiley face with a little thing.
As soon as I finish them. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna start out with what you absolutely need to know. I dated in quotes because that's illegal. It started when I was 13 and he was 17.
That's an exaggeration. Nice clickbait, illy.
No, it is not an exaggeration. If you're 17 years old, you know, applying to colleges, driving, maybe you have a job, why would you have a crush on someone who's literally in middle school? You know what kind of boys I was into in middle school? Kovu from The Lion King 2. Moving on. But if the age difference there isn't enough to prove he was a predator, this person also pressured me into sending explicit pictures of myself and threatened me when I said
You know,
no,
read, I
which
gave you
I
option
did. So
before.
go ahead. Say age is just a number, and I'm blowing this whole thing up out of proportion. Go
I
on.
gave them
I'm
an
used to
option.
it, because that's what he told me. For 5 years. Here's what happened. When I was 13, just like many of you watching, I was interested in drawing, illustrating, Kovu from The Lion King 2, making comics, digital painting, and even animating. I had a DeviantArt with cringy meme drawings and Lion King OCs, do not steal. Like, if you're gonna judge me on anything in this video, judge me here, okay? I was a kid. I wrote Harry Potter fan fiction. I was in middle school. I was 13, and I made an account on a now deleted website called ArtSpots. It was like Agio or Drawsome. You just draw online with other random people, and there's a chat box on the side. And in retrospect, I think ArtSpots was a furry website. Anyway, one day, someone popped in and said they liked my drawing, and they asked how old I was. I said I was 13. They said they were 17, and they thought my art was so good that I had to be an art teacher or something. Now, this may seem like a compliment, and it is, especially from someone older than you, and that's exactly what I was thinking. But considering what would later happen, this is called grooming. Grooming is when someone builds an emotional connection with a child to gain their trust for the purposes of abuse. The predator gains the child's trust, breaks down their defenses, and then convinces the child to engage in their desired disgusting acts. And I really want to stress, hindsight is 2020. If I could gaze into the future, I would have logged off and never gotten on a computer ever again. But I'm not that so Raven. So from there, this guy shared his entire life story with me. That he was graduating high school soon, had a crush on this girl who put him in the friend zone, and he was severely depressed because of that, and all he wanted was a friend. But, and this is important, he told me to never tell my parents about our friendship. Why? Because they wouldn't understand us. We're like Romeo and Juliet, okay?
Ugh, Illy, you have to be stupid to not see these obvious red flags. I would never let that happen to me.
No, I wasn't stupid. I was 13, just like many of you watching. Just think about all the normal friends you've made online, like through Minecraft or Roblox, and then imagine if this happened to you. No one really tells you about these things, so that's all I'm trying to do in this video series. God bless. Go in peace. So eventually, we moved our conversations to AIM, then Skype, then texting. And as time went on, he demanded more and more from me. And he never seemed to understand that I was 3 hours ahead of him. I lived in North Carolina, and he lived in California. So I couldn't exactly stay up late talking every night. But to that, he'd accuse me of ignoring him and hating him. And one night when I fell asleep, I woke up to a barrage of texts from him saying he was going to kill himself because I was ignoring him. And I called him a million times, and after hours of calling and texting him that I was sorry and it wouldn't happen again, he finally responded. And thankfully he was okay. But I was not. At 13, I couldn't imagine being the reason someone killed themselves, no matter how much staying up till 1, 2, sometimes 3 in the morning was destroying me. But from that night on, out of fear, I stayed awake. By high school, our friendship completely took over my life because when I was with friends or family, he'd do anything to make me leave them and talk to him. He'd blow up my phone while I was at dinner. If I didn't respond, he'd call me awful things just to bait me into giving him attention. Even on prom night, he tried convincing me to stay home, and when I didn't comply, he went silent, which worried me to death, and he later explained he did this as a punishment for ignoring him. He would do anything and everything to keep me isolated from friends and family, and his favorite tactic? Threatening suicide.
Well, why didn't you just leave? Just log off.
I did, but again, he had every means to contact me, even my home address. So if I just logged off, he could swat me. Death was something he constantly held over my head. That's terrifying. So why did I stay? Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is a condition that causes hostages to develop a psychological alliance towards their captors as a survival strategy. This can also be the case for those in abusive relationships. So, every time he threatened suicide, I would talk him off the cliff by saying exactly what he wanted to hear. I don't want to go hang out with my friends. I don't want to go eat dinner with my family. I don't want to go on that date. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to go anywhere where I can't be with you. And after months and years of saying exactly what he wanted to hear, I started to believe it. Just like he wanted me to. I felt brainwashed, trapped in my own mind games, and slowly, he broke me down made me choose sides, and conditioned me to do anything he wanted. And why did he want me so badly? Well, when I was 15, he used these tactics to take inappropriate pictures of me, and he saved them on his computer in what he called his personal collection. By this time, he had just turned 21. This is where, to him, our friendship turned into a relationship. You can skip to here to avoid reading these messages.
Illy, I know you claim that this adult man pressured you into sending explicit pictures of yourself, and you have the messages to prove it. Or whatever. But shouldn't you respect his privacy and not use his real name?
He invaded my 15-year-old body! Fuck your privacy. Fuck your privacy. Every day, after school, during the summer, even while I was at work, he demanded I stop whatever I'm doing and sent him no less than 30 Snapchats a day. And if I said no, which I did, he'd find a way to force me. I remember one time I begged him for hours to leave me alone. I even told him that this was considered CP and that he could go to jail. And you'd think if someone was confronted with this kind of information, they'd go,
Oh man, I don't want to go to jail. You're right, what I'm doing is awful. I should really stop harassing and threatening you to—
Nope, not Harris. These pictures of me were so important to him, he'd do anything to get them. So he found a way to deny, deflect, and blame me for everything.
I can't believe you think what is wrong with you? Are you crazy? Do you have any idea how that makes me feel as your boyfriend? That you think I'm a—
This is called gaslighting. Gaslighting is where the abuser denies reality and convinces the victim to doubt their own memory, perceptions, even sanity. And like always, Harris threatens suicide if I didn't go along with him. So when I try to tell him what he's doing is wrong, is disgusting, is against the law, I ended up being the one apologizing to him for making him cry. Cry more, dude. It's wrong. This went on until I graduated high school and went to college. Oh, and remember that girl who friend-zoned him in high school? Around this time, she reached out to me, telling me to run, to block him, to cut him off immediately. Because truly, he harassed her back in high school, stalked her in real life. And when she blocked his phone number, Harris used a website to make up fake phone numbers so he could still contact her and harass her. I didn't want to think this was true, but then again, if it was happening to someone else, maybe it was. So I brought these allegations up to Harris, and he became so angry at me. He denied doing any of that, despite the proof she had. He accused me of lying, he told me to never speak to her again, and he demanded all of my passwords on every social media platform to make sure of it. He also threatened to kill me and then himself if I didn't comply.
You could have said no.
No, I couldn't have. I was terrified. You don't know what it was like. You don't get to say that to me and millions of other young children who are lured into this kind of evil every day. We don't need to be told what to do or how to feel. We've had enough of that from these awful people who hurt us. What we need is for someone to finally listen and believe us. People like Harris do not deserve your empathy. People like Harris do not deserve the benefit of the doubt, because people like Harris thrive when others are complicit. The more we turn the other cheek, say, that's none of my business, or even worse, blame literal children for the evil they had to bear and the childhood they had to sacrifice. The more this happens, the more people like Harris get away with it and do it again. But understand, this is why I'm telling this story years after it happened. I want to warn others, especially those watching who are as young as I was. And sadly, this story is only the beginning. Most of you know, I grew up in North Carolina and moved to California for college. And a lot of you have asked me, how could you do that? You're leaving your whole family. You've never even been to California. Well, Harris made me. And I'll get into that in the next video.
Not in my description, you know, her description.
Hey
Hey guys, thank you so much for making it through that video and hearing my story. I also started a second channel and I made a video about how I respond to hate comments. You can check that out right there. Thank you guys so much again for all your support, and let me know if you'd like part 2 next or something a little more lighthearted. Okay, bye!
I am sad now, but I won't react to this one. Just read it, pause, but I'm sorry. Yeah, just waiting a little bit to read it.
Alright, who's back for the chaos? I'm back for the chaos! I said, who's back for the chaos? I'm back for the chaos! In case you missed the first part of this 3-part video series about my abusive ex-boyfriend, here's what you need to know. When I was 13, I was coerced into an abusive relationship by a grown man who threatened to harm himself or me if I didn't send him at least 30 snapshots of my underage body every day, no matter what. Whew. That was a mouthful. Anyway, I left off in the last video explaining that this was only the beginning, because Harris pressured, manipulated, and threatened me into leaving all of
I'm sad for people that had to go through this. I'm sorry that you had to, and I hope you're not dead.
my family in North Carolina and going to a college that he chose for me 30 minutes from his house in California. Hashtag relationship goals, am I right? Nope. Nope, I'm not. Now, before we get into the thick of it, I really want to stress this. Don't blame my parents for what happened to me. Stranger danger? Got it. No squares? Don't touch them. They taught me to stand up to people like Harris. They even tried breaking us up at one point because they were suspicious that this very thing was happening. And that's a whole nother story I'll have to get into later. Just please understand, they did everything they could to protect me.
And remember, don't be sexist thinking that men can't go through this. I'm just saying, don't. If you're a sexist, please leave. But I still don't want you getting raped, but just don't be sexist.
But mom and dad can't always stop bad people from doing bad things. So if you're looking for someone to blame here, maybe blame the guy who abused me? I don't know. It was a long shot. I just thought I'd throw it out there. If you remember from last time, Harris told me to never tell my parents about our friendship. But as our relationship grew worse and worse, my gut was like, girl, this is whack. And y'all, when something doesn't feel right, listen to your gut. So in an attempt
Yeah,
to
if it
leave,
doesn't
I
feel
came
right,
clean to my parents about talking to Harris, but I was too afraid to talk about the abuse. I felt like
tell them the abuse. I'm sorry. If you're too scared, try to push through it. Try to show them the text messages. Please just let them know you're being abused. I'm sorry.
I deserved it for not listening to them earlier, you know? So when I came clean, I was expecting, no, I was hoping, praying they'd take my phone away, throw my computer in a dumpster, and burn the Wi-Fi. Since Harris wasn't letting me go, I saw my parents as the only way out. Again, they tried breaking us up in the past, years prior. I didn't care what kind of trouble I would be in now, as long as they got him out of my life. And my parents said, look, you're 17. You'll be 18 in September. You're going off to college soon. You're becoming an adult. If you trust this guy now, so can we. And hearing that, knowing the gross things he was doing to me, and knowing if I spoke out about it that he'd kill himself or me, I felt like I was telling my parents the biggest lie to their face. But I didn't know what else
That's
to do,
not your
because
fault.
Harris was saying stuff like this.
You were forced to read it, but if you are deaf or if you're blind, ECU doesn't cost less than a community college. There's Harris College. Wow, if you go to ECU, I will be so disappointed in you. Still don't understand. No, we drive by. Ellie. Yes, it does. Red bar thing. I don't know. Maybe a community college, but it's still outstate. disappointed in me. Wow. Harris. No, it does not. You are eligible for financial aid anyway, but community college is way cheaper than a university. Illy. If something happens and ECU is my only choice for a year, you'll be mad. I know you want me to go there, and I know I want to go there, but DAMN Harris. Disappointed cause you have your facts around and don't listen to me and go along with something that isn't what you want. Illy. I'm eligible for financial aid here too, and again, out of state is more expensive than in state. I am listening to you and you're not getting the concept of cost. Look, we're tight on money, and if ECU is my only option for a year, then so be it. Don't be mad at us for not having enough money. That's BS. ECU tutor is $5,000. And red sensor bar, I don't know, is $7,000, I guess. Also, if I did go there for a year, I wouldn't get residence. I have to be financially independent. I.e. have a job, pay for my own insurance, pay taxes. Harris, then don't get my hopes up about you coming here. I am thinking, wow, it's only a year till she comes and we can do all things. Illy, wow, I could come in a year. Could nothing and is certain until I'm accepting and we know we can afford it. Harris. Yeah, well, F that. I'm not going to wait around to do things with you. I'll go out and do them without you, and you'll no reason to complain anymore, no excuses to be sad. Illy, I told my parents that the uncertainty makes me anxious, and they say it makes them anxious too. Are you seriously getting mad at me for being unable to be there right now? Question mark. Are you effing serious? You're the one who gets lonely and jealous whenever I go do things. You get PISSED. When I work, when I swim, when I sleep. Sorry. Harris. Dot. Illy. Whatever. Go do whatever. And I get a job. Say something whenever I call you out of the feces. Remember, feces is just me covering up the crap cuss word. Feces, you pull this feces and run away. K. Find any more screws, Harris said. Illy, yeah, so far the closest ones to you accept and are hella expensive. Checking out OTIS. O2 is College RN NVM. Tuition alone is 36K. Harris law find more. The closer it is, the more hot sex we can have, Harris said with a smile winky.
A little later, I was accepted to a college Harris chose for me. Tuition started at $30,000 a year, but he said,
Tuition is super expensive. Stop worrying about money.
money doesn't matter. Love does. How nice!
Together.
I'm being sarcastic. So in February, my mom and I flew out to California to visit the school and meet Harris and his family for the first time. On the car ride to his house, I was holding the flowers we got for his family. I remember feeling so torn about it all. Is this what love is? He told me that this is love. This is what boyfriends and girlfriends do for each other. This was my first real boyfriend, too. And he was so much older than me. So I guess he knew best. He also treated me horribly, called me fat, and demanded pictures even though I cried every time. Why am I at his house? Why am I here with my mom? Why are we meeting him and his parents? Why am I not saying anything? Why am I not screaming? Why am I not listening? And the first thought that came to mind when I saw Harris in person for the first time was this. Oh, I can kick your butt. Seriously, the first thought that came to mind when I finally met this guy who's abusive and supposed to be my boyfriend was, oh, I am confident I could kick your butt right here, right now. This kid was thinner than a string bean. Mother trucker had a BMI of 2, maybe. And look, I talk a lot of shit for someone who can barely hold a gallon of milk. But when you come into my life...
Talks feces for a person that can barely hold a gallon of milk. Also, she said mother truck, you know.
And make me feel body conscious? You better be buffing the Mr. Clean with that attitude. Up until now, I was afraid of Harris. But after seeing the weak little chicken leg he really was in person, I felt powerful. I felt confident. I felt reassured that I could handle his abuse. That if he did try to hit me, abuse me, or even kill me, I could defend myself. I felt at ease in our relationship. Seriously, that's how messed up your reasoning gets in these kinds of relationships. And this is called rationalizing.
Rationalizing is attempts to explain or justify one's own or another behavior or attitude with logical, plausible reasons, even if these are not true, appropriate. She could rationalize her urge to return to the cottage. Justify, explain away, account for, defend. Vindicate, excuse, try to rationalize his behavior. Also, I read those from the synonyms.
Rationalizing is an attempt to explain or justify one's own or another's behavior or attitude with logical, plausible reasons, even if these reasons aren't true or appropriate. On top of that, I remember thinking too, if I call the police, I don't have any bruises. They won't be able to get him out of my life for good if there's no physical evidence of his abuse. Sticks and stones will break your bones, but words can't hurt you, right? I need to wait
This
till
is
he
wrong.
stops. Then I'm a victim of abuse. Otherwise,
Or
I'm just
hurt
crazy
yourself.
and overreacting like Harris says I am. Then we went on our first date. We went to
February
a pretty outdoor mall.
5th.
Harris says I am. Then we went on our first date.
February 5th, 2015.
We went to a pretty outdoor mall, and the plan was to get dinner, see a movie, and for me to be back at the hotel by 12. But that didn't happen. When we entered the theater, Harris noticed that we were the only ones there. He then pressured me into doing things with him. I firmly said no, but while we were watching the movie, he grabbed me and touched me, and I freaked out. I told him not to do that, and again I said, I don't want to do anything in the movie theater. After a little while of just sitting and watching the movie, he said, you know what, this is boring, let's go, and he walked out. And since I was from the middle of nowhere and didn't know Uber was a thing, also I've literally never been to California.
You know, Uber.
and have no idea where I am, he was my only way home. So I followed him out. By this time, the rest of the mall was closed and everything was dark. There was no one around, just me and him. And as we walked through this deserted mall, he leaned over and said, "I've had a all-night."
A boner. Let me just. That's what he said. That's what he said. Sorry, I just did that.
I told him I needed to be back at 12, so we should probably get going. What? We finally meet in person, we go on our first date, and we don't even make out? That's not fair. Okay, we can make out in the car then, but after that, I need you to take me back. And by the way, you don't owe anyone anything. Boy or girl, young or old, especially when they treat you like this. Consent is everything. Consent is
Permission or something to happen or agreement to do something. No change may be made without the consent of all the partners. Sitting in agreement, assent, acceptance, approval, appropriation, a verb, give permission for something to happen. He consents to search by detectives and agree to assent to yield to give and to submit.
permission for something to happen or the agreement to do something. And if you have to convince, manipulate,
Communications when you change the type or degree of sexual activity with phrases like "Is this okay?" Explicit agreement to certain activities either by saying yes or another affirmative statement like "I open to trying," using physical cues to let them know what the other person know you are comfortable taking things to the next level. It does not look like this. Refusing to acknowledge no. Assuming that wearing certain clothes, flirting, or kissing is an invasion for anything more. Someone being under the legal age of consent and defined by the state. Someone being incapacitated because of drugs or alcohol. Pressuring someone into sexual activity by using fear or intimidation. Assuming you have permission to engage in a sexual act because you've done it in the past. If you experience sexual assault, you're not alone to speak with someone who is trained to help call the nation's sexual assault hotline at 800.656.hope enclosed line 4673 enclosed line or chat online at align.rain.org.
or beg someone to do something, that's not consent. There's a really good video that uses T to
Consent. Chinese
explain consent. I'll leave a link to that in the description. So we get in his car and we make out for a little bit. And on top of being a predator, an abuser, and an all-around piece of garbage, he was also a horrible kisser. That's the tea, sis. I kept an eye on the time and watched as it ticked past my curfew. We should really go now. Nah, your mom's probably asleep. It'll be fine. Which was true. She wasn't calling me or texting me or asking where I was. I wish she was doing that. Okay, well, I'm afraid someone will see us making out and we'll get in trouble, so I should really go back to the hotel. I have an idea. How about we go into a parking garage and do some stuff there? No, I'd really rather just go back to the hotel. I'll bring you back after. You worry too much. No, I don't want my mom to get mad at me. I really would just rather.
That's not music.
So, he drove us to a parking garage.
And raped her. He raped her. By the Q, he raped her.
I don't like that section of the mall anymore. By the time he dropped me off, my mom
She was
awake.
raped.
She told me how worried she was, how I should have at least texted her, should have called her, should have said something, done something, let her know what was going on. And I agreed. As I took my shoes off, I just felt so weird. I wanted to scream, to cry, to tell my mom what just happened to me with that man right there in the doorway, but I was so shocked. I couldn't say anything. I was so mad at myself. What happened to thinking I was stronger than him? That I could and would defend myself? Why didn't I fight back? Why did I freeze up? Why did I just sit there and cry and let it happen to me? No one's gonna believe me now. I didn't put up a fight. I don't have any bruises. And even though I said no 1,000,000 times, maybe I should have said it louder.
No.
Maybe it's my fault.
No.
After that, I flew back to North Carolina, and my mental health only worsened. I became apathetic, depressed, irritable, anxious. I kept having nightmares about that night. I'd wake up crying or screaming. Since February 5th, I had completely shut down, as if Harris had successfully reprogrammed me to be his little robot. When he texted me, I texted back immediately. When he wanted me to be awake, I stayed awake. And when he demanded pictures, I sent them. 6 months later, mid-August, I flew back to California, this time to stay. My whole family went with me for orientation week and move-in. During this time, Harris demanded to be there every second of the day, but of course, he couldn't, and I couldn't change that. Finally, one day, I found the courage to put my foot down and say, I need a break. I need you to leave me alone. We can hang out after orientation ends, on Thursday. And as you can imagine, Harris didn't like me having this much control. He blew up my phone with his usual threats before giving me the silent treatment. Monday night, my school hosted a barbecue at the beach, and I actually had a great time. I met a ton of people who would later become some of my best friends, but when I got back to my dorm, Harris called me. Where are you? I'm at my dorm. Why aren't you answering me? We're on a break till Thursday. Just read what I said. And he hung up. That's when I realized I had 8 missed calls and 24 unread texts. I was standing in my dorm room, boxes everywhere, looking at my school schedule. Where class wasn't written, Harris was. And that's when I realized I just couldn't do this anymore. But I knew every time I tried to leave in the past, he threatened the worst of the worst, and I stayed with him to avoid that. So me leaving meant it might really happen. But I decided I'd rather die putting up a fight than let him have his way with me any longer. At least then, there'd be evidence. And it happened. I called him, and I told him I was breaking up with him. He screamed at me, threatened to kill himself. He threatened to kill me. I hung up, and he texted me, die, 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 die. I hope you die. You deserve to die. Then he went silent. I was used to this when I lived thousands of miles away from him, but now that he was 30 minutes north, he knew what college I was at, he knew where I was. I locked the door and called the police. I told the operator what was going on, and she told me to come down to the station to file a report and a restraining order, but that didn't happen. When I showed the officer my ID, he refused to...
I lost the original take here. Sorry for the drop in quality.
believe a 17-year-old from North Carolina was attending a college up the street and therefore refused to believe anything else I had to say. He refused me a restraining order. He refused to even investigate. He threw my license back at me and said, next time, leave the adult things to the adults. Okay, sweetheart? And if you go running back to your little boyfriend, don't call us. And look, I understand that might be hard to believe, but the fact is, this is what happens.
Let's look. Our reported police out of every 1,000 rapes, 994 predators will walk free. predators will walk free. 310 are reported to the police. Through 7 reports lead to arrests. 11 cases get referred to prosecutors. 7 cases will lead to a felony eviction. 6 rapists will incarcerated.
In these kinds of cases, some cops are nice, some cops are helpful, and then some just don't see how fatal these situations can be. In 2016, about a year and a half after the parking garage incident, I learned the statute of limitations for what happened to me would be up soon. Statute of limitations refers to a statute prescribing a period of limitation for the bringing of certain kinds of legal action. So basically, if a crime is committed, depending on where you live, you have a certain amount of time to report it. And this is where people like me get a lot of backlash. There are a million reasons why it's so hard to seek justice, let alone even leave an abusive relationship. I mean, just look at what Harris would do. Some abusers actually go through with those threats. Some stalk you long after it happens, and I'm one of the lucky ones who's still alive to tell this story. And on top of that, some police just don't listen to people like me. They refuse restraining orders. They refuse to even investigate. They refuse to listen. Why? You're overreacting. It's not that serious. Quit blowing things up out of proportion. Honestly, hearing those words from your abuser, and then from the people who are supposed to help you, it breaks you. It reaffirms what should never be said. I was afraid to go back to the station after what that cop told me, but I also knew I deserved and needed help. And thankfully, a really nice officer who I would love to name.
Guys, subscribe to Illymation.
But I respect his privacy, helped me out, but we couldn't get a strong enough case. There was no way to press charges against him, because we can't prove he sent those messages. He could easily say, yeah, that's my computer and my account, but my sister wrote that. You can't prove I typed that out and hit send, and he'd be right. The only way to fight this is through getting his confession. We tried, but of course he refused and blocked my number. That's why charges were never filed. That's why I didn't get justice. And that's why he is still out there. That's why I avoid going certain places where I know he might be. That's why I keep tabs on his social media, because he started going places near my school and apartment. That's why it's hard for me to fall in love again. It's hard for me to trust people. It's hard for me to understand what relationships even...
She knows what you're going through, guys, and get taser, pepper spray, try to be prepared, tell your loved ones. All of this. So there's a chance. So they could be there just in case. To stop someone from killing you. Yeah, rapists and, people that abuse children actually do go through with those threats. And people have died.
Are, or what their purpose is. But thankfully, I'm with much better people now. A month after leaving Harris, I dated a guy named Calvin. He was super sweet. He never treated me anything like Harris did. He respected my boundaries, and he liked me just for me, baggage and all. We later broke up because we were better off as friends.
In the description, please follow and appreciate his art. Calvin is a salmon roll. Cat face, check out his work. This is the only shadow I will ever do because his art is so good. Also, he's really kind and funny. Yeah, if someone dates Illy, I do think they're nice. Except her abuser. Except, her ex that is abusive. But, the 2 boyfriends she's mentioning.
Hi, Calvin. A few months later, I caught up with a friend you guys might know, Chris Tanimato. At the time, he had just started working for It's Alex Clark. After some awkward nights, Chris and I ended up dating. And that's a really good story I can't wait to tell. I interned for a little bit for It's Alex Clark, and I learned how to do storytime animation on YouTube. I started posting videos in January 2018, and I gained a bit of traction. And from there, I made a bunch of really good online friends. And I met them at my first VidCon in 2018. Someone also stole my phone at VidCon, which had a really pathetic voicemail that Harris left me when I broke up with him. But since I can't retrieve it, here is a dramatic reenactment.
Lissa,
Why won't you pick up? You need to call me back. Call me back. And here is his final Facebook message to me. Ah, memory. Lissa, why won't you pick up? You need to call me back. Call me back. And here is his.
Please talk to me. Please, I've done everything for you. I've changed before you, and you still do this. Please don't block me. Please, this is Harris, by the way.
Final Facebook message to me. Ah, memories. After that, I landed a summer job working for Tim Tom. I kept posting videos, and I posted part 1 of this video, and it blew
You
up.
could slow it down and get back.
And I know a lot of people would say to that, well, I guess things happen for a reason, but I don't think so. I don't want to thank Harris for putting me through this awful thing just because it led me to where I am now.
No, things happen. Life happens. Some things are bad, like your grandma dying or going through an abusive relationship, and good things happen, like giving birth to a child. And your mom living through cancer or something like that.
Now, he doesn't deserve credit for that.
Or liver problem, not liver problems, lung problems. My mom lived through things because she smoked and was kind of dying.
In fact, he doesn't deserve anything short of being dipped into a volcano limb by limb and dying a slow and horrible death. But that's just my opinion. What matters here
No,
is
that's
I
my
finally
opinion
chose my
too.
own path. But after staying in California all these years, knowing Harris is just up the road from me, he's watching everything I do, he's going to places he knows I'll be, I better give him something to look at.
I know. There's something here that he's not telling me. I was worried because I was like, what if he does something to my family? Age 13 to 18. Like, that was my everyday. You don't know the depths of it.
It's already out because, I will click on it.
I know. There's something here that he's not telling me. I was worried because I was like, what if he does something to my family? Age 13 to 18. Like, that was my everyday. You don't know the depths.
Remember, you're not alone. You're not alone. I will tell you this. You're not alone. People have gone through this. You could call people for help. You could call people. You could talk to your mom and dad and people that you trust. And people like the cops and stuff. If they're calling you, show them the calls of the threats. Record his voice.
So I'm in my room.
Your voicemail of him.
On part 2 of the abusive boyfriend video. And I get a message.
Hey girl, you don't know me. I really want to reach out to you. I'm Holly's girlfriend. I saw your animation about Harris. It was wow. The one of her coworkers saw it and showed her like this. Sounds a lot like that guy who stalked you, and then she showed me. And I hope it's not out of pocket to say how proud I am of you for surviving and leaving him and telling your story. I've been friends with Holly since we were like 13, so I remember the whole Harris thing, the creepy feces, we did to her at school, how he stalked her for years, and how he used to blow her phone up with 500 texts.
Remember that girl? friend zoned him back in high school. She reached out to me. She saw my video, and I'm gonna fly out there.
If you want any help making anything, you let me know.
We're gonna sit down.
This is Illy, I think. People have been like, who's the other girl? So, if you're ever in Southern California, or if I'm near you, we should film
Jane
something.
Dawson style. I'm gonna find out what really happened there. I hope you guys are ready for this. I hope I am.
2 weeks. Content all people can.
Nervous.
Why are you nervous?
I'm nervous because, like, why are you nervous?
Why are you nervous? They're trying to make their lives happy. See the beautiful view. Oh wait, you're all blind.
I like the art over there. There's like a cat holding a suitcase.
The sky is beautiful.
That's cute.
I could describe it.
Holding a suitcase. That's me.
It has clouds in blue, and you can see the ground. Holly contacted Italy once when she was 15. Still she cautioned Illy about Harris. They haven't talked since.
She's right in there. And my heart is like going. She just had her back like to the windows. So I was
To the
like,
windows, to the wall, to sweat down my balls.
it's one thing to like talk to someone online, but it's a whole other thing to meet them in person, especially with this kind of context. My heart is like warm with excitement, and also I'm super nervous.
Yay.
So I don't know if
There are people like you, and I do hope you know this.
you guys are here. I messaged her, but like she's working. So I guess you just want to walk in and be like, hey. I don't know if she'll recognize me.
I'm sorry the video's so long, but accept it. I just want you guys to know you're not alone. This whole video was to tell you, in 2023, you're not alone. You're not alone. Girl, you're not alone. Boy or girl, you're not alone. People went through what you had to,
So-
and you're not alone.
This is Holly. You reached out to me when I was like 15 or 16 on like Tumblr. How did you guys meet?
They met on Tumblr.
Through the internet.
It was.
Safely.
Yeah.
Good.
Like when I met her, I was like 13 or 14.
Yeah. So that means like when you were on Art Spots, like so were you, and you guys were like drawing together.
Artspot was a popular art website.
Yeah, we were drawing together often. It was like it was like a me, her, and then a group of our friends. Yeah.
And then Harris just interjected himself.
Not really, no.
Really?
Like
He would never come like talk to us. He would like stalk our DeviantArts and like all of our pictures.
That's weird. Okay, stalking your art. Okay, I get like going to a person's page and liking their art because they're a really good artist. Like, like odd ones out. I'm just sorry. I'm really coffee. Odd ones out. Odd ones out.
And sometimes leave comments occasionally.
I want to know, did he leave comments like where he made it clear who he was, or what?
No, like I had no clue. Like I came up to her one time and I was like, this person always likes all my stuff.
if more than one of us got a favorite from the same person, we'd be like, oh,
Who is this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you guys know who this is? We know each other because we took together.
She didn't know him.
They took drugs together. That's what they're saying. They took drugs. together. This video is definitely not going to be seen by YouTube. Also, if you're a child, please get out. Like, this is way too late. Still, drugs, sex, and all of that. You should not be learning about this today.
Tell everyone, because the one thing in your video that you missed was that why he started talking to you on art spots was because he thought you were her. Yeah. Because you guys had like the same, like you guys both had spork. Yeah. And that's why we used to call you Other Spork for the longest time.
Other sport.
That was what we
The
knew.
circles of like.
We knew you as Other Spork, and we'd be like, "How's Other Spork doing?" It's like, "No, he's still dealing with Harris's bullshit."
I reached out to you on Tumblr, but I knew.
Still dealing with F and bull feces.
You when you were still actively using DeviantArt.
I did not know that. I have a lot of
DeviantArt.
You know, this was
So-
pivotal. Why didn't I stop it?
It was still my junior year. It was
DeviantArt is popular. Hey, I might make a DeviantArt and you could kind of check it out. I might make a DeviantArt, I don't know. But not that weird stuff with sex and stuff. I mean the normal one. In comics maybe. I don't know, I have an animation in the works, so I just don't know how to record it with it without it looking weird.
and I was walking with one of my friends, and we were just chatting and stuff, and he was like, "So how's it going with you and Harris?"
Yep, because he
And
thought
then
you guys were dating.
And then I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like you and Harris. And I was like, and he was like, "Aren't you guys dating?" And I was like, "What?" And then he was like, "Oh."
He's gonna go report back to him. That's all that's going through my mind. Is like,
Well, this was not a friend from his friend group. This was like a friend of mine who would occasionally talk to Harris. And like, this was not a friend of his. This was just. That's when it. This is when it started clicking in my head. I was like, what?
yeah.
Apparently, he had driven
What the F?
by my house. I think a mutual friend of ours was like, "Yeah, like we drove by your house just to like tease him or something like that." And I was like, "You guys drove by my house?"
Drove.
That was like ground zero of all the like.
Yeah. So I made it known to this one friend. I was like, "We're not dating."
Yeah.
And I said it very seriously. I was like, "We're not dating. You know that, right?" And he was like,
Here's the thing. I had a friend that is a girl. And when I just interact with girls, they immediately think you're dating. I don't get it. Why? Why can't I just be a friend with a female? That's it. Nothing serious. Literally just a friend.
"I do
Literally.
now." And I was like, "Good."
Spread that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, "Tell that
Spread
shit
that
to people."
feces.
Because I
Tell that
don't want to hear about
feces.
this again. End of junior year, leading into my senior year, I got this text message. First, I thought it was spam because it was literally just comma slash
Comma
slash
slash.
comma slash slash. I was like, okay, what the this is like from a number I
What
don't
the
know.
F?
It kept sending. I excused it as like spam, and then I kept getting it. After a certain point, it would be comma slash slash, and then leet speak. And like at first the lead speak was just like random words, and then I would have like a conversation with it. I was already getting annoyed because I was like, this is a real person who has a number. And so at first it was just sending like a normal
number.
amount,
Was
right?
it, like
Daily. And then I have no other way of saying it except that it started getting kind of aggressive. Like the lead speak had stopped completely.
it was normal talk.
No, it wasn't normal thought. It was literally just all commas and slashes.
All the
But,
time, like
in
hundreds of text messages.
These were happening, yeah, all the time.
It was like an old.
That'd be annoying.
Like
hundreds of texts. It was like impossibly like
You can't even use the phone at that point.
Yeah.
This is copy paste, copy paste, copy paste.
Something.
Yeah.
As far as they know, I don't have unlimited texting. So I texted them and I was like, stop doing this. It's driving up my phone bill. Obviously a lie, but they kept doing it. I remember I got a call from the number and I was like, what? And I like picked it up and I was like, hello? Like no answer. But there was clearly someone on the other line. I remember at school I would like ask people, I was like, do you know who this number is? Do you know who this number is? I remember telling a friend, I was like, I think it's Harris. And they were like, no, it can't be Harris. Like he wouldn't do something like this. This number would start sending me pictures. Like it wasn't anything, like it was just like memes at the time.
What do you think you're gonna respond and be like, oh, I like that actually?
I don't know, just like grasping for attention, you know? And so, I think he only actually managed to send one picture, and it showed the email of like the person who sent it. It clearly had his name in it, and then I copy pasted the email, and I was like, interesting. And then that's when he was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he just went on this like self-pity, just
with that same like fake number, like within that conversation.
Yes.
The dots and the dashes right above it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and he was just like, I'm sorry, you caught me. This is my true nature. Yeah, he was like, this is my true nature. And like, I remember reading some of your chat logs, and he would just be like, I'm just pathetic.
Yeah.
And this and that. I was like, I was really.
What a weirdo.
He was like, oh, this is just my nature. And I was like, no, this is a choice. He was just like, oh, this is just
It's not nature, it's a choice to be a jerk. To be an a-hole.
attention whore. And I was like, yeah, you are.
Whore.
You are. And I was
Yeah,
like,
you are.
don't contact me again. But I
Don't contact me.
was worried because I was like, what if he does something to my family? Because then I remembered, I was like, he drove by my house. He knows where I live. That's when I started getting freaked out.
Yeah, with a lot of abusers and stuff, like there needs to be that power dynamic.
Yeah.
And like he wasn't,
You weren't standing for it, yeah.
and she wasn't like 13. She
Yeah.
wasn't like a child.
Yeah.
when it
True.
came to him.
Thank you.
You're older than me.
And you knew each other in real life, so there was a lot
Yeah.
of like, he couldn't put up a front for too long.
No.
I think this is a good place to wrap it up for tonight.
Yeah.
And we can get into, I guess, like my side tomorrow. By this time, doing a quick plug, I guess. By this time, the part 2 will already be out, so if you want to go watch that, you can click right up there.
We're back at it again. Yeah, just back at it again. Yeah, we'll get some crepes, and then later we'll discuss some stuff. Yeah. Let's have fun first. Yeah.
Holly and Kitty have been dating for almost 6 years. It's not serious, but it's not amateur. I do want this to not be slow because I don't want you guys to be like, oh my god, what are you? And that's Kitty's dog. They visit Holly every few months. Okay. I don't care if they're not dating anymore. Because remember, this was like December 16, 2018. Or at least the description is. That's a lot of views, bro. And at least I have a life more than creator.
Scared a dog. I didn't go into this in the video, but like there were times where we would talk and I would like call him out on stuff. I'd be like, I don't like that you're doing this, this, and this to me. I don't like this. And then he would chalk it up to being like, you're overreacting. I'm just doing
Also, I showed an eye.
I care about you. That's why I'm saying all this stuff.
So at least you
And then
know
he'd be
my
like,
eye.
I won't talk to you then. And then like silence. And
My
like,
face
months.
definitely
I'm
changed.
Sorry, I didn't.
That's, I think, why you had contacted me. You were like,
Anonymous. Hey, this is late, but I'm Alyssa, Harris' friend for a while, talking, and then one day he spoke up later. He said he did so because you encouraged him to say, hey, I want to say thank you for that. I don't know what you said to him, but thanks for saying it. It's tough to get through to him sometimes. Uh-huh. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you again. And you don't have to answer this, just a a thank you message. Hi, Alyssa. I'm Holly. No prob, but I didn't do much. I said something he thought about it, and he did it on his own accord. No, so props to the both of you for talking again. Posted on, I think, on January 2012, January 3rd, 2012 at 10 10:08 p.m. with 0 notes.
He hasn't talked to me. And then he did recently, and he said it was because he had talked to you, or like, referring to me, and I told him to talk to you. And I answered, and I was like, he did it on his own accord.
I remember that. Wait, so he said that he talked to you, and you were like, you should go talk to this girl. That's all a lie.
He was like talking about not being able to talk to people, and I was like, you should talk to them. Like, if something is bothering you, talk to the person about it.
Was that in this context when I
think so, because you messaged me shortly after that.
Right. If we knew, like, we would have never been like, go hang out and talk to her.
Everything with Harris is always like, in the beginning, I had no idea. I thought he was just some shy dude. I thought he just had some online friend who they had a falling out, and I was just trying to help. And, like, he always has a way of just hiding stuff with you, like, 3 out of 10, like, this is kind of creepy. And then with me, it's like...
Well, that's the thing about, like, talking to you is you weren't, like, in that school, like, at all. So he could tell you anything about her, and you'd be like...
And I'd be like, oh, he wouldn't lie to me. Like, I haven't talked about this. At the time, I had 2 really good high school friends. I still keep in touch with one of them. It was Emily and Sarah. I would cross-check with Sarah because she had been through that, and I would be like, she's a good friend of mine. She would know what is abusive.
Sarah means princess.
But, like, I'm sure she holds a lot of, like, oh god, like, why wasn't I more direct with Alyssa? Like, I remember before I flew out.
There's a jerk in school where her name is Sarah, and she's a jerk. And yeah.
Before I met Harris in person, we were sitting in the car and we had just been, like, hanging out at her school. Harris was blowing up my phone, and she turned to me, and I remember she was like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, by the way. And I was like, yeah, I know. She was,
You don't have to do it. But they're gonna force you. They're gonna try to force you, so stand your ground. Put your foot down like you're trying to teach your child. Put your foot down.
she was like, I don't think you know. I would probably still be with Harris if it wasn't for them. I'm really thankful for that.
Thank you. Saving Illy. I'm fine with not using a person's real name, so.
It's our last day here in San Francisco. We're gonna finally go down to the bridge and see Holly one last time before we go.
I was afraid it was gonna be like kind of weird. Like all that we had in common was just this awful guy from our past. Or beyond that, like all we'd be able to talk about was this guy from our past.
I just
Yeah.
didn't know
F
what to
Harris.
expect. I
If you
felt
find her
really sleepy
Harris,
because I was
please
told
leave
not
him as
to.
soon as
It
you
was weird. I
can.
just like became like invested.
Don't
in
even date
as
him,
a person.
because he's a
Yeah,
bad
sure.
person.
Or something.
Yeah.
Like it was watching you from
Oh,
and I knew too much at that point to be like I can't just like
yes,
walk away and like not say anything.
Glad that
sorry, I'm thinking about you guys liking and
It still
subscribing.
feels really surreal.
it's really weird.
I'm thinking of you
About
guys
it,
liking
he
and
wanted, that
subscribing.
he was so adamant about you staying away and us
Never talk, and here we are. I gotta get on a plane, and I gotta go, so I'll see you.
And try to breathe deeply when you're sad. Try to go.
Because he knew we'd get along.
They get along. Yep. Thanks to. Oh my god, I couldn't read it. Good jams. Thanks to Holly and Kit. Links to follow them in the description of my abusive ex-boyfriend, girlfriend.
God. I'm back home and I'm exhausted.
I'm exhausted from making this video.
Was amazing.
And
Like,
guys,
first of all, I thought I was over it. I thought I knew everything about him. I thought
No.
I knew his intention.
no. You're not always gonna know every single thing about them because they change. They change a lot, so sometimes in the past they were a horrible person. Trust the processes on the blackboard.
And I didn't.
Or whiteboard.
It's really easy to take advantage of
Chalkboard.
someone. And what's not easy is confronting these emotions.
It's not easy to confront them, but you got to live life to the fullest. You know, there was no point of life besides eating, having children, and then dying to carry on your genetic legacy. But now, humans have made it more. To be happy in your life. To do what makes you happy. To survive. To live. And then someone carries the genetic level. And then you carry the genetics. And then you die.
But it was worth it.
And you gotta get
Now
through
I
some
feel
things.
like
You're not
I'm
gonna be
closer
fully
to
happy all the time.
understanding how and why he is the person he is, kind of how people come to be this way. Part of it is just them. Part of it, like Holly said, this is a choice. This is a choice. People choose to be gross and awful sometimes. But part of it...
Yeah, don't always trust people fully. What I think you do is slowly start trusting them. You have to have a little bit of a shield up at the beginning, and then slowly that shield starts disintegrating. The more and more you trust them. So you can tell them who you are, what you're about, and all of that when you trust them and know them a lot more better.
It is the culture. Maybe this series rang a few bells for some of you watching, so check the description.
The only thing it reminded me of being sexually assaulted.
For a bunch of helpful links. You can learn more about abusive relationships, how they start, how they end, and how you can get some help if you think you might need it.
If you need help,
As
please.
always, thank you.
If you need help, anyone, and this. Needs help if you're in an abusive relationship. Go to type in my abusive, the opening parentheses, ex, closing parentheses, boyfriends, girlfriends, and finger quotes, and then go into her description in this video, and then find, the thing I'm being abused. There's 3 websites you could go to. Because I know you guys need help. Not all of you, but you. Someone needs help with something.
Thank you so much for watching and listening to our story. Hey guys,
Yay.
I want you to know that I have merch available for the first
Also get her merch and something else YT and Odd Ones Out and a lot of YouTubers merch like Chicken Nugget. Alan Becker, to name a few.
You can click the first link in the description below.
Just report Andrew Tate. I'm just saying, if you see any Andrew Tate videos, report them for being sexist. Also, he has a plushie, so you could go to him and get a plush. But, hope you like, subscribe, hit the bell, please, and comment venue, please. Just do that to help us.